Hey y'all, it is March the 18th, 2018, and it's a beautiful Sunday morning here in San Antonio, Texas. I hope y'all are having a blessed morning. I wanted to talk with y'all again about, of course, this video that we're looking at, and if you'll notice, not only do I got 1.1 thousand views, which is something that it doesn't really happen to me all that often. Not all that often. Not only I got that, but you might notice that I got 17 thumbs up and 16 thumbs down. Alright. I don't think you know anyone who gets the exact same amount of thumbs up and thumbs down the way that I do. Alright. I hate to brag on myself, but I do that from time to time. I mean, I'm pretty good at it. I'm getting better and better. Here's what I wanted to point out to y'all today, and of course I've already made a couple videos about it. And hopefully I don't have to make too many more videos, but I feel like we really got to drive this point home as you start to see some of the comments. Like I said, half the people who come to this video really appreciate what it is I'm saying. And, well, half of the other people are about to get into it. But before we get into it, I want to point out to your attention that, unfortunately, and it's quite unfortunate, public school is wasting y'all's children's time. And they're taking your children hostage, all right? Basically, for the most part, you might say, oh, that's where they learn. Your children would learn anywhere you put them. All right? It's just the nature of children. They learn irregardless of where they go. But, there's so many lies. It's hard to sift through all the lies that you'll be taught in public school and stuff. It's hard. It's so hard because basically all of it is lies for the most part. I'm here today to talk to y'all about, and it's something that I've referred to a couple times, one of the biggest lies. One of the most significant, monumental lies. The public school is going to ram down your child's throat, all right? And they're just going to expect everybody to accept it, all right? Truth be told, I accepted it at first. It's the lie of settlers. Here in America, in the Americas especially, the lie that's been told to y'all. And I remember it vividly. I don't know if exactly they use the same verbiage as they used to, but just to make it brief, suffice it to say, they would talk about settlers and pilgrims and stuff, and they would call them bad people and bad European people. And they would come to the Americas, and just to keep the story brief, they would say, well, these people commenced to slaughtering everybody around them. And they did so, and they called it manifest destiny, and they slaughtered everybody around them with great maliciousness, right? With a great hatred in their heart. And these pilgrims or settlers or whatever you want to call them, they were hateful Europeans, and they hated everybody, right? And basically, they dehumanized everybody before they killed and slaughtered them and raped them, or whatever the story goes. I mean, they probably don't say rape in the public schools, but they killed them and slaughtered them. And they called them savage barbarians, like I said, to dehumanize them. They called them savage barbarians and heathens. Now, we're taught this at a very young, inappropriate age, as children, that this is what happened. And like I said, it's very inappropriate to use this kind of language around children, but it doesn't matter. They still tell us. They say those Europeans, they were so bad, they called everyone savage barbarians, and they commenced to slaughtering them, all right? And as a child, you take this in, you say, well, that's terrible because they're hurting people's feelings by calling them savages, by calling them barbarians. Maybe they just didn't understand them. Maybe they jumped to conclusions. And as a child, you think, dang, those settlers, they were mean, right? They were bad people, all right? So with that in mind, I would less like to go into some of the comments, and we've already seen some of the comments that are left On this particular video, if you haven't seen it yet, everybody and their mama has already seen it, and it's pertaining to genocide. It's taking place over there in South Africa, and I'm not talking about in history times. I'm talking about current day. It's actually going on right now as we speak. It's a grave travesty. That's what's taking place, in which not only are people savagely, brutally murdering men, women, and children over there in South Africa for their skin color, which happens to be light skin color. They're doing it in all sort of satanic ways, but not only that, the government is literally jumping up and down and singing songs about the murdering of light-skinned people, and perhaps the raping of them and things of this nature. Now, it's over the top absurd that this would be taking place. Right, and we pointed it out because it seems quite unfair. The white farmers over there in South Africa are sincerely outnumbered and stuff like this, and obviously it's already reached genocide proportions, and it's only going to get worse unless we do some stuff. Now, I heard before we discuss some of these comments, I heard that Australia is thinking about repatriating a lot of these people over there to Australia, in which I hope that they do. I really, really hope that they do, and I hope that the U.S. can follow suit, and many other places where they're not in such grave danger. All right. But like I said, we're going to get into some of these comments. All right, let me just read a couple for you. For example, like I said, oh my God, this is so long. Some of these comments are so long, mind you. All right, and you could read it. You could go over there and read it if you want, but I'm not going to take all your time just by reading all this. Basically, suffice it to say, what Cheryl S. is saying in this very long comment is that the white people over there, they deserve to get raped and brutalized and murdered in all sort of satanic ways because of what their ancestors did. Meanwhile, they may not even have ancestors in South Africa. Who knows? Who even knows what their ancestors did? And furthermore, why in the world would you ever have to answer for what your ancestors did? Real quickly, let's think about a baby. A baby is born, and it can't help who it's born to. Alright, so why would you expect this baby to pay you all sort of reparations and things? It's just a baby. Can you let the baby live? These people, they can't let the baby live. And that's why I'm showing you some of the comments. And of course, you can go see the comments. But like I said, this is a very popular video. You're going to see a lot of comments. And most of them are going to be exactly disgusting. Like this one from Seymour Cake. It says, exactly, it's karma. And they deserve it. These men, women, and children deserve to get brutally, satanically raped and murdered. Which is exactly what I described in the video. So they deserve it for fucking up blackness. These people can't not curse, mind you. And you're going to notice that. They can't not curse. Said for fucking up black nations for years. It's like, who do you think you're talking about? Said, I don't give a fuck. Alright, you start to see the sentiment. Right? I don't give a fuck about how they feel. Shout out to black South Africans. Alright, so she's very proud. She's very proud of the genocide that's taking place, in which I clearly described. Alright, but that's just one example. This gibbering moron over here named Charles Davis, he used the English language to not make any damn sense whatsoever. Alright, and I had to call him out about it. There's plenty of replies, so you could go check that out. I mean, but seriously, gibbering nonsense. And meanwhile, he's using English language. All these people are using English language. It makes me wonder why they don't comment in some African language. Probably because, I'd hate to say it, but a lot of these African languages can't be written down. Alright, let's see. I mean, we have a lot of good comments where people actually understand that, these people are in dire straits and they're surrounded by murderers and rapers, all right? But then again, you got these people over here saying weird stuff, talking about a kidnapping scheme, aka slavery, which in their eyes has only ever happened to dark-skinned folks, which would lead you to believe that they are retards. This guy says, what's your point? It's what your ancestors did. And he has no clue, not one, about who my ancestors are. I said he hates God and he's a savage, but we're going to talk about that in a second. And then people come to, they try to use history. They try to use the Bible and things of this nature to support genocide and rapes and murders of innocent people. All right. Let's see. There's some good dialogue going on there. And all sort of stuff. This person right here, breaking news, they laughed out loud at the idea of genocide because it's funny to them. Right? They don't have a point to make. It's just something that they find funny. And all sort of interesting comments that you can find. Right? I may leave off on this one, and like I said, there's so many more that you can see, but I might leave off on this one because it's real good. This one's from Paul E. Bai. Said, there's no such a thing as white South African. Okay, and I'm going to have to stop you there. If there is no such thing as them, then how come I'm talking about them getting murdered? Am I making these people up? Did I make them up in my head? No. He said, it's Caliph European immigrants. And it doesn't even matter if they were literally born there in South Africa. That doesn't matter. Paul says it's Caliph European immigrants. He says this, okay, skin tone is what makes you. See, we're seeing the exact sentiment of everybody who dislikes this video. He says, skin tone is what makes you. And then he says you, as if that's a sentence. He says, you trying to make sounds like God. He says, you trying to make sounds like God is wrong, making you look like who you are, in fact, your skin tone. All right, and at this point, you're starting to gather that this person doesn't like me. But beyond that, I have really no idea what this person is trying to even say. Except that I am my skin tone and there's nothing else about me that's worth knowing. He says, detef mine. I don't know. I don't know what word you're going for, sir. Detef mine. Your origin on earth. That's Hugh. Important it is. I don't know. Chai bees. Chai bees look yellow African. What the hell are you saying? What are you saying? Look dark. That's the sense. Who taught you English, sir? Alright? Whoever taught you English, you should go get your money back. Says Europeans look pales and etc. You are European pale. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. E-hats called truth. Should you dirty? That's your smoking braids on coke, not mine. What in the damn world are you saying? I'm gonna give you a heart for that. But what in the world are you trying to say to me? Alright, you need to go back talking in clicks and clacks, dude. And whistles. I don't know what you're saying. Alright, and then of course you got Cheryl S. and she can't stop, won't stop. I mean, she wrote just such long... I mean, that one's not so long, but she wrote a lot of different long comments. She was very enthusiastic about it. Alright, so the thing is, I suggest that you go check out the comments for yourself because I don't have enough time in the day to read all of them to you. Alright, and I think you're going to find them very interesting. But before we get out of here, I want to say this. It's quite obvious that there's people out there who've been taught and brought up to think that the only thing that is significant about a person ever, in general, is the color of their skin. And that's it. That is all. Nothing else matters. Right? So with that being said, you think back to the lessons that we were taught in school. All the various lessons, to include the settlers and how they called people savage barbarians and things of this nature. And they were mean people for doing so. You start to realize that those settlers actually knew what the hell they were talking about. Alright? They were dead on balls accurate. I personally come from Texas, and a lot of people might know that. It's basically a land full of cultural appropriation, if you want to call it that, in which all sort of different cultures, you might have heard of Six Flags over Texas, all sort of different cultures came together and mashed themselves together, and they decided what's right and wrong, and they decided to build a blustering success called, certain towns called like San Antonio, in which we're just overflowing with success and things of this nature. You know what I'm saying? We're just filled to the brim with our own kind of culture and stuff, and people may not like it. People may not like to see brown people with cowboy hats on. They may not like to see everybody laughing and carrying on and eating tacos together, no matter what your skin color is. They may not like to see this. They may not like to hear the Tejano music and the accordions and this and that, and I'm sorry about it. But see, racism doesn't exist. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I come from the land that proved it. Alright? Many times over. Racism does not exist. However, you do understand that savage barbarians exist. Absolute heathen human pieces of garbage do exist, and they always existed. Alright? They existed back in the settler times. They exist now today. Right? You can find them on the internet. You can find them with the greatest of ease. Here's the thing. They walk amongst us. They benefit off of all of our beautiful culture and success. They benefit off of it. And they leech off of it. They provide nothing to it. They are leeches in the very extremist sense of the word. Alright? And like I said, they walk amongst us. They hide. They hide like cowards do. And they don't say anything. They don't try to let us know that they're savage barbarians. Alright? But meanwhile, if you were to make like a video like I did, like one of these, they can't help it. You bring it out of them. They cannot help but type out blithering gibberish like this fella down here. They can't even help it. They don't know English, yet and still they will type out all sort of gibberish in a frantic demonic rage, right? Because they are absolutely savage barbarians. And I don't mean to bandy words with you. That is what they are. Now, just to leave out on this, I want to leave out on this note. I don't know if it's going to happen, but honestly, I can't wait till the day in which we all collectively, no matter the color of what we are, come together, figure out that these savage barbarians, well, they can't be saved because they don't want to be saved. They don't want to listen to reason and logic. They want to hate on people in a color-coded fashion because that's all they know and that's all they ever will know. That and savage barbarianism. I personally can't wait till the day until we gather up the courage to build a great big beautiful wall around these people, and so that these people can live together, all right, just by themselves, all filled up of savage barbarians, and we build a great big wall around them, and we wait for them to eat each other alive, because most certainly that's what they will do. They don't know how to farm. They don't know how to be productive. They only know how to hate. They are ran by demons. All right? And this is quite clear. I mean, the thing is, you'll notice on some of these crazy comments, well, I do reply, but on some of them, I won't anymore. Because the thing is, I couldn't illustrate my point any better than you do. All right, where are you? Mr. Paul eBay. There is no way that I could illustrate more better that you are a savage, good for nothing, absolute piece of human garbage. All right, I couldn't do it better than you have done it. All right, so that's the thing. I can't wait until we build a big, beautiful wall around y'all. No matter if it's in Africa, South Africa, in America. I don't care if it's in Antarctica. Build you a little community, build a wall around it, have y'all eat each other alive, and then just sit back and laugh because nobody wants y'all on Earth no more. You're good for nothing, all right? And all you are is just a human form of a ball of hatred, and that's all you are. That's all you'll ever be, all right? It is March the 18th. 2018, and drop out of school, I beg you. I'll holler at y'all.